Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockrell. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a closer look into Bloomington's Penn-American District and check in on the progress of the redevelopment, as well as see what utilities employees are doing to keep our underground pipelines and reservoirs safe during the construction. Phase 1 of the Penn-American redevelopment project is in full swing. This was the scene in late June. Crews were working on leveling the ground and removing excess dirt, rocks, and soil. And as you can see, just over 2 months later, things are coming along nicely. Crews are busy constructing the underground parking area and structure of what will soon be luxury apartments and townhomes. A number of different city staff remain in active presence on the construction site, making sure Bloomington's vision is being accomplished safely and effectively. Utilities Superintendent Bob Cockrell gives us an inside look at work they're doing on site at Penn Avenue and American Boulevard to ensure one major pipeline into Bloomington goes unharmed during construction.
We needed to make sure that when the roadway that is needed to service this development is put in place, that this very essential, very important water main is protected. And so one of the ways we're doing it is with this concrete slab. The slab will deflect traffic load, it will insulate the pipe and keep it from freezing. Another way that we protect the investment that we have within this project is that we have project inspectors from our engineering division, along with utilities and the contractors, are being watched by and assisted by 3 different inspectors. And so they're out here daily making sure that everything that goes on that can and could impact the city utilities is being minded.
Approximately 20% of Bloomington's water comes from reserves in Minneapolis. This pipeline, protected by these cement slabs, is one of the corridors in which that water travels, and if disturbed, there could be major consequences.
If we were to receive damage to the water main, depending upon the vicinity of the damage, if it's close to Penn Avenue, it's not unrealistic that we could wash away the sidewalk, we could wash away the curb and gutter, we could wash away portions of the roadway. It's a large pipe, it's fairly high pressure, it's somewhere around 70, 80 pounds per square inch. The volume of water that could come through that main at any given time through a break in the main is tremendous.
This newly covered pipe is one of 2 large diameter transmission lines from the city of Minneapolis. Water is pumped here, checked for proper water quality, and stored in large reservoirs to be used on hot days, in case of fire, or just as surplus for high usage times, making protecting them that much more important.
With a roadway going over the top of them, we do need to protect them. We do need to shift the load away from the center of the pipe to the supporting soils on either side of the pipe, and that's what these slabs will accomplish.
When Phase 1 of the redevelopment project is completed in the fall of 2012, there will be 234 rental units available, more than 14,000 square feet of retail and restaurant space, and improved transit services. If you noticed in the video, crews were working on newly installed fire hydrants to send water elsewhere on the construction site. These hydrants receive water from other city mains located under Penn Avenue. The pipe connecting Minneapolis and Bloomington remains untapped and untouched. As promised, we'll keep you updated right here on Bloomington Today on the progress of the Penn-American District redevelopment project. Well, the days are getting shorter. The early morning air seems a bit crisp, and area youth are heading back into the classrooms. But before hitting the books for the day, many kids hop on the school bus. We spent the day at an area bus company who says now is the perfect time to remind motorists and children alike proper safety procedures when on or around a school bus. Take a look. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, school buses are the safest mode of transportation for children. In fact, kids are 8 times safer getting from point A to point B in one of these than your average vehicle.
Bloomington Schools transports, I believe, around 8,000 to 9,000 students, so we have anywhere from about 100 buses out there on any given day, and we're only 18 square miles.
Other motorists' driving behaviors are key to keeping kids safe. Stopping for the bus's stop arm and keeping their vehicles far enough away from the stopped bus are two important actions drivers should take when a school bus stops.
They need to be 20 feet away from the back of the bus and 20 feet away from the front of the bus, and they cannot pass the bus until the stop arm comes in.
Bloomington police officers have recognized the issue of motorists disobeying school bus safety laws and are taking a more active role to enforce those laws.
The Hennepin County Traffic Enforcement Group is going to be working this area for 2 saturations. The Bloomington Police Department is going to work closely with the bus company on some saturations, and we're really going to target our enforcement based on areas that are getting frequent violations. So we're doing a better job of tracking the forms from the drivers that they fill out and inputting those into our GIS so we can use essentially a pin map to figure out when and where these are happening.
Another component to school bus safety comes down to the children. Parents need to educate their kids about proper bus procedures.
We always encourage our parents to be there about 5 minutes early to the stop. That will keep kids from running to the stop as we're approaching it. The second thing is that the bus has a safety zone. We want to be 10 feet, we want kids to be 10 feet away from the side of the bus. So, we want them to be on the grass, not on the street. If it's in the wintertime, we want them to be usually in a clear driveway or sidewalk path or up over on the other side of the snowbank, not on top of the snowbank, but behind the snowbank, so they're not going to slide down and get into our path.
Back to school season is an exciting time for kids, and Kirk says a safe rule of thumb is simply to assume
if there's a school bus, there's probably going to be children around there, so if you view them as your own children or your nieces or nephews or grandchildren, feel out the best that you'd want to do for them, drive the same way, Just be less distracted, be aware of your surroundings.
Again, residents are encouraged to talk with their children before they head back to school about safe bus riding. Or if your child walks or rides their bike to school, visit the city's website where the police department has compiled a list of back-to-school safety lessons, complete with tips for a safe school commute, however your child gets there. The Bloomington Police Department is continually coming up with new and efficient ways to train their officers, in hopes that it will ultimately assist them in better serving and protecting the community. One way they do this is through firearm qualifications. Members of the Bloomington Police Department are required 4 times a year by the state to adhere to certain qualifications for using their firearms. In late August, we were on site during one of those qualification courses. According to Commander Mark Stellick, Bloomington's outdoor shooting range offers a unique practice experience for officers.
Well, one of the good things about this facility is that it allows us to introduce some things that we can't do at the indoor range. In this particular case, we introduced some movement and some physical stress on people. Can't always replicate the mental stress, but we can do something similar with physical stress. So by physically stressing the officers a little bit and introducing some movement, it really challenges and improves their skills.
In this firearm qualification course, police personnel are put through different tactical exercises with varying shooting platforms and distances to the target.
The reality of it is that most officers are going to go through an entire career without ever being involved in a shooting situation. Doesn't really even matter where they work. They're just not likely to be involved in that. But it's one of those situations where if they are involved in it, they better be able to handle themselves and win that encounter. And it's not only important for them to be able to protect themselves, but they need to be able to protect the citizens ultimately.
While firearm training is important, it's just a small component to Bloomington police training.
Firearms is certainly a critical component of what we train, but there's a lot of other things. There are a lot of use of force encounters that are lower on the scale, if you will, than a firearm situation. So we do all kinds of use of force training that involves you know, whether it's batons or tasers or some of the other tactics that we train pretty heavily on that kind of thing.
Whether it's firearm, hand-to-hand combat, or reality-based training sessions, police officials only have one goal in mind when preparing officers to hit the streets: the protection of everyone who lives in, works, or visits the city of Bloomington. Sergeant Mike Hartley coordinates these qualification courses and says nothing short of the best when it comes to instruction for training is acceptable.
We're very fortunate in Bloomington that we've got the access to some good training. Our instructors receive some of the best training that is provided throughout the country. They bring that back and provide that to our officers. And so whether really it's use of force, firearms, driver's training, what we're looking at is what's going on at the national level in law enforcement, what officers are facing, and we're bringing that back and making sure that we try to stay ahead of the game here in Bloomington.
Training often takes place in Bloomington's indoor shooting range during the winter months, so officers never miss a beat and continue to be prepared to provide the highest quality protection to area residents. It's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Tanya Zaradka to talk about an event you won't want to miss. Stay right here.
For the trees on our street.
At my campground.
In my woods.
For the trees in my backyard.
I promise.
Promise.
We promise to not move firewood.
Because the emerald ash borer beetle could be inside.
I've seen what it can do to trees.
I won't be the one to spread the beetle.
Friends don't let friends move firewood.
I won't move it from my backyard to my cabin.
Or bring it home from camping.
I won't take it here or there. I won't take it anywhere.
I'll only buy it where I'm gonna burn it.
Or buy it from my local guys.
I promise.
For the ashwood in my guitar.
For the love of the game.
The wood stays put. I promise not to spread the beetle.
For the trees in my state.
In mine.
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 In America.
We promise to not move firewood.
We have the power
To stop the beetle.
Join us at stopthebeetle.info.
Folks, why won't we go to the doctor? My uncle called, speech all slurred, complaining his arms numb. He called everyone. He even called my daughter Tiara, because, you know, she's got a year of nursing. Everyone thinks he needs to go to the doctor, including me. So he said, well, will you take me? I'm like, I'm on the road. He goes, I'll wait. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love have symptoms of stroke, don't wait. It may be too late. Dial 911. Time loss is brain loss.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now joined by Tanya Zaradka. She is the event MC of the Tom Burnett Jr. Hometown Hero Celebration. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. I'm a big fan of your show.
Thanks.
I know you're going to do really well in this business.
Thank you very much. Well, for viewers who aren't aware, will you please let them know who Tom Burnett Jr. is?
I'd be happy to. And you know, first of all, I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to be here today. And I'm kind of a new person added to this committee for the Tom Burnett Hometown Hero Celebration. So when I found out about it, I was really touched and have become very passionate about it. For the people out there who are watching, United Flight 93 was one of the airplanes at 9/11 that was averted from hitting the Washington area. They say it possibly was going to hit the White House. Okay. And Tom Burnett Jr. is actually from Bloomington, and his family's from Bloomington, his parents, and his wife and his children, and he actually played sports here in Bloomington, was very active in our community, and he was one of the people on that plane that got behind with all the passengers and started a movement, and you probably heard this somewhere throughout the media of let's do something. Mm-hmm. And he called his wife and he said, you know, we're going to stop this. And he said to everybody, let's do something. And they took over that plane. And you know, it's a horrible tragedy that they did crash in that field in Pennsylvania, but it's actually kind of amazing that they saved so many people that would have been harmed if they would have gotten their way and landed and crashed it into the buildings in Washington.
Absolutely. I have goosebumps
just
hearing
the
story. Well,
it's hard to talk about.
As we just discussed, a community event was formed about a year ago called the Tom Burnett Jr. Hometown Hero Celebration. Tell us a bit about how the event came to be.
Sure. Well, they like to refer to Tom Burnett Jr. as Minnesota's hometown son, our native son. And there was really nothing set up to commemorate his sacrifice as well as all the other passengers on that airplane. So the Bloomington Crime Prevention Association, I believe you know Jim Cowie, correct? Yes, good friend.
Yes.
They came up with this idea of putting together an event that really would celebrate what this man gave to us as well as all the other passengers, and to also kind of honor people in our committee who, or excuse me, in our community who are working to help children and to help abused children with Cornerstone and a bunch of different programs that BCCA supports. So basically they put together this fantastic night. It'll be at the Hilton at the Mall of America. It's from 5 o'clock is kind of show up and mingle, and then dinner's at 6. We have an amazing program. I don't know if you're familiar with Allison Scott. She has opened for Bon Jovi. She's opening for Sheryl Crow. She's just this amazing new star. She's going to be singing the national anthem, and Kevin Bowe. So we've got some great musical events. My dear friend Barry Zavan, he's probably before your time, but he was a very famous weatherman here in Minneapolis, and he will be helping MC a little bit. And it's just a great night to get out and kind of remember and honor these people that really gave so much to our community and actually sacrificed their lives.
Absolutely. Well, why has Tom Burnett's friends and families made such a push to recognize what we call hometown heroes?
Well, you know, so often when you think about 9/11, and as we spoke earlier, you know, this is the 10-year anniversary of it, we get so wrapped up in what happened in New York, you know, with the Twin Towers and that. But it happened also to our community. We lost an amazing person, Tom Burnett Jr., and all those other people on the plane. And I think we just needed some way to really recognize that it hit home and to make sure we don't forget about that. And I think that's why his family pushed for it, but it's also our community, I would say, pushed harder than his family did. This is something that the community, the BPCA, really wants to give back to his family. So I'm just very honored to be a part of it, and I really hope that you can come too.
Absolutely. Well,
we'd love to have you.
This year we are coming up on the 10th anniversary, and as we said, just about everyone can tell exactly where they were when they heard the news of what had gone on at 9/11. Now we know Tom Burnett Jr. is being honored at this event. Anyone else?
You know, that's a good question. Like I was speaking with you earlier, we really wanted to highlight people that have been giving back to our communities. So Jim Ramstad is one of the people that we're honoring. He's been very involved, and so many people know who Jim is. He can't be there, but he's taped a message for us that we're going to play. So he's one of the people being honored. And we also want to remember people that have helped, and so we're honoring Harmon Killebrew as well. So it's going to be great. We're having Killebrew root beer and honoring him. And then we're also honoring an 8th grade class here that's really excelled in citizenship here in Bloomington. And so a lot of the kids will be there from this class. And it's kind of just a night about the community. And yes, it's in tribute to Tom Burnett Jr., but it's really, we want people to just never forget 9/11 and to never forget those sacrifices, and to come out, enjoy some great entertainment. We're going to have wonderful food. The tickets are only $50, so anybody can afford it.
Yeah.
And we've got lots of room, so we sure
learn a little
appreciate
bit of history.
There you go. Sure.
Well, that leads into my next question. Is this event open to the public? And if so, how can someone get involved?
Absolutely. We would love to have all of your viewers come out, and we're going to stop selling tickets on the 8th. So if you can purchase a ticket between now and then, it's very simple. Just go to tomburnetthometownheroes.org, and you can purchase the tickets right there. There's also a couple phone numbers of people if you'd rather call in if you go to that website. And like I said, the tickets are $50, so it's really something that everybody can afford. We have a little higher price, $150 ticket if you want to do the little meet and greet, but if $50 is something that you can fit into your budget, we would really greatly appreciate all of your viewers' help.
Well, we'd like to thank Tanya Zradka. She is the MC for the Tom Burnett Hometown Hero celebration that will be taking place on September 11th at the Hilton at Mall of America. And again, for more information, visit tomburnetthometownheroes.org. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back.
Get up to a 100% scholarship to college and up to $60,000 in assistance. Get paid to learn valuable job skills. Maybe make an extra 20 grand when you join. All while you serve your community and your country. Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
My mom is my hero. She goes into places people want to get away from. She makes everyone safe. But the best thing she can do is come home.
The U.S. Fire Administration reminds you to protect yourself and firefighters. Have smoke alarms on every level and near sleeping areas. Test them monthly. Change batteries as instructed. Install sprinklers. Do your part to get out before firefighters have to come in.
Welcome back, everyone. The City of Bloomington's Parks and Recreation Division has gone one step further to improve area parks and ultimately help accommodate all kinds of outdoor enthusiasts. This fact has been brought to light as pickleball courts have been installed at several area parks. Think badminton meets tennis. The game pickleball combines the two sports and is played with a hard paddle and a wiffle ball. The courts are smaller than a tennis court and the nets are slightly lower, but the obvious fun is evident. We were on site at the grand opening ceremony of 3 new pickleball courts located at Westwood Park, where city staff, curious residents, and pickleball enthusiasts all gathered to see what all the interest was about.
We're trying to keep an active, healthy community, as we all know. With our kids and with some of us, obesity has become a real issue, and there's more diabetes and all that. So the more active that we can stay in our senior years, the better off we will all be, for our children as well as for ourselves.
Pickleball has caught national attention, which is why Bloomington Parks and Recreation knew they wanted to get involved with the growing sport.
We have a long-standing history of really listening to our residents, trying to find out what is the newest recreational activity that they're looking for. If it's cost-effective, if there is a need, and there is resources available, we'll do our best to make sure that we can provide that for our residents.
What started out as one multi-use court at Bloomington's Highland Park has rapidly been growing. People from as far as Northfield and St. Cloud turned up for this grand opening. And according to Jim Clacius, many are able to put their past tennis skills back into use.
The things that you do in tennis, you do in pickleball as well. The angles of the shots and things of that nature there. So this is a game that has really been great for the senior community because it doesn't put as much pressure on the body, yet it's a real good workout. I mean, you play a game and you know you've been active, but the senior community has embraced this. It's growing by leaps and bounds all over the country.
But whether you have a tennis background or not, pickleball is easy to learn, a great workout, and fun for all ages. Tarnhill Park was also reconstructed this summer to include combination courts of basketball, tennis, and pickleball. Pickleball enthusiasts say everyone is invited out to Westwood Park on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. There you can borrow extra equipment and try the sport for yourself. And in police news, a convicted sex offender is set to move to Bloomington, and law enforcement officials want to be sure Bloomington residents are informed about the situation. Joey James Olson is a level 3 predatory offender. This is a person who is most at risk to reoffend. Olson has listed an address on Boone Circle South in Bloomington as his address effective September 1st. Join Bloomington police officials on Thursday, September 8th at 7 p.m. at Community of the Cross Lutheran Church, located at 10701 Bloomington Ferry Road, for a public meeting. Here, officers will answer questions, address concerns, and discuss potential interactions between the public and that offender. Minnesota state law authorizes police officials to inform the public of a sexual or predatory offender's release from prison, not to create fear, but to raise awareness. The Bloomington Police Department believes that an informed public is a safer public. More details are available on the city's website. Navigate to the police page under the Public Safety tab and click on Police Alerts. Do you need another reason to come out to Bloomington's Civic Plaza for the weekly farmers market? How about a chance to talk with MnDOT representatives about one huge construction project in Bloomington? Well, picking up some fresh produce. On Saturday, September 10th, join MnDOT representatives for a public information event during the farmers market to discuss the 169 I-494 interchange project. Staff will be on hand from 10 a.m. to noon to answer questions and address resident concerns regarding the major reconstruction. The 169 I-494 interchange project took off back in spring of this year. As you can see, the interchange is a full-blown construction site now, but a lot of progress has been made in the last few months. On August 26th, crews closed Washington Avenue at West 78th Street to begin work on the new Washington Avenue Bridge. Watch for periodic nighttime lane closures on 169 from Valley View Road to Anderson Lakes Parkway and on I-494 between Prairie Center Drive and West Bush Lake Road. Lane closures will occur between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. For a link to MnDOT information sites, log on to the city's website. Keyword search 169-494. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockerill. Thanks so much for joining us.